International Business, Masters of Commerce, second semester, Mangalore University, session 24. Managing Global Business Risk. In this session, you're going to learn about the exam policy. Learning objective to discuss about the concept of the foreign trade policy of 2004 to 2009. Session outcome, the students are able to understand about the features and the evaluation of the foreign trade policy of 2004 to 2009. The objective of the new foreign trade policy, which was announced on 31st August 2004, were as follows. First one, to double India's percentage share of global merchandise trade by 2009. India's share in foreign trade between 2003 to 2004 was 0.8%. The target in this policy was to set to achieve 1.5% share in the world by 2009. Second, to act as an effective instrument of economic growth by giving a thrust to employment generation, especially in semi-urban and rural areas. The next is the features or the measures of the foreign trade policy of 2004 to 2009. The first is measures for the agricultural sector. A new scheme called Vishesh Krishi Upaj Yojana was introduced to uppace the exports of fruits, vegetables, flowers, minor forest produce, and their value added products. Also, capital goods imported under the EPCG for agriculture were permitted to be installed everywhere in the agri export zone. In addition to this, the import of seeds, bulbs, tubers, and planting material was liberalized, and so was the export of plant portions, derivatives, and extracts. Second, measures for the gems and jewelry business. Duty free import of consumables for metals other than gold and platinum was proposed to be followed up to 2% of the factory on board value. Additionally, duty free re import entitlement for rejected jewelry was to be allowed up to 2% of the factory on board value of exports. The limit for the duty free import of commercial samples of jewelry increased to rupees 1 lakh. Third is the handlooms and handicraft sector. Duty free import of trimmings and embellishments for handlooms and handicraft sectors was increased to 5% of the FOB value of the exports. Handicraft Export Promotion Council was authorized to import the trimmings, embellishments, and the samples for small manufacturers. A new handicraft special economic zone was also proposed to be established. Fourth is leather and footwear sector. Duty-free import of specified items for leather sector was increased to 5% of factory on board value of exports. Also, machinery and equipment for effluent treatment plants for leather industry was proposed to be exempted from custom duty. From the custom duty and the export promotion schemes. Next is Target Plus. A new scheme to accelerate the growth of exports called Target Plus was introduced. Under this scheme, the exporters who had achieved a quantum growth in exports were to be entitled to a duty free credit based on incremental exports, substantially higher than the general actual export target fixed. Next, Vishesh Krishi Upaj Yojana. Another scheme which is called the Vishesh Krishi Upaj Yojana, a special agricultural produce scheme, was introduced to boost the exports of fruits, vegetables, flowers, minor forest produce, and their value added products. Exports of these products were to qualify for duty free credit entitlement equivalent to 5% of the FOB value of exports. Next is Served from India scheme. To accelerate growth in the export of services so as to create a powerful and unique Served from India brand instantly recognized and respected the world over, the earlier DFEC scheme for services was revamped and recast into the Served from India scheme. Individual service providers who earn foreign exchange of at least 5 lakh and other service providers who earn foreign exchange of at least 10 lakh were considered eligible for a duty credit entitlement of 10% of total foreign exchange earned by them. In the case of standalone restaurants, the entitlement was to be 20%, it was to be 5% for hotels and restaurants. EPCG. Additionally, a flexibility for fulfillment of export obligation under EPCG scheme was offered to reduce the difficulties of exporters of goods and services. Also, technological upgradation under the EPCG scheme was facilitated and incentivized. Transfer of capital goods to group companies and managed hotels was also permitted under the EPCG. Next, export oriented units. Export oriented units were offered exemption from service tax in proportion to their exported goods and services. Additionally, they were permitted to retain 100% of the export earnings in the EEFC accounts. They were also allowed 100% duty free import of raw materials and capital goods. Setting up of biotechnology parks. One of the lines of the IT parks, biotech parks, were proposed to be set up under this policy. All incentives as offered to EOUs were to be offered to the units set up in these parks. Next is Free Trade and Warehousing Zone Scheme. A new scheme to establish free trade and warehousing zones was introduced to create trade related infrastructure to facilitate the import and export of goods and services with freedom to carry out trade transactions in free currency. This is aimed at making India into a global trading hub. In these zones, FDI was permitted up to 100% in the development and establishment of the zones and their infrastructural facilities. Additionally, units in the foreign trade warehousing zones were to qualify for all other benefits as applicable for the says units. Next is the new status holder categorization. A new rationalized scheme of categorization of status holders as star export houses was introduced as under. So they were categorized on the basis of the amount of average annual exports. Suppose if their annual exports amounted to rupees 25 crore, then they were treated as one star export houses. If their annual average export were 100 crore, then it was regarded as two-star export house. Likewise, 500 crores were treated as three-star export houses. 5,500 crore were treated as a four-star export house, and 5,000 crore were regarded as a five-star export house. And suppose if their annual exports increased to 7,500, then it was treated as premier star export house. Critical evaluation. The foreign trade policy of this period has been criticized on certain grounds. First one, the policy was considered complex as far as charging tariffs at different rate is concerned. Thus, in turn, this has an application for procedural complexities and red tapism. Next is measures to promote export of manufacturers in the foreign trade policy were relatively few. Third, certain export promotion schemes were started during the period when India was facing an acute foreign competition. These measures are no more required but have continued indefinitely in time due to pressure from certain exporters. Fourth, larger focus was on export promotion and not on strengthening of the indigenous industries. However, despite this criticism, the new foreign trade policy was extremely comprehensive and forward looking.